was Gio, my son. It was you, all this time. You did what was best for you. This isn't right. You know the kids belong with me.
Not anymore.
If you've ever been caught in a family fight over custody and secrets, this story of Michael, Willow, and a hidden child will hit home in ways you didn't expect. Hey babes, welcome back to Larivia. It's your girl Larivia, and trust me, today's tea is piping hot. Let's get into it. So, it all started with Michael feeling like he'd had enough. He was done watching Willow take the kids and build a new life with Drew while he was out there fighting for his life. The breaking point seemed to be Willow moving the kids in with Drew, as if Michael didn't matter, as if he was out of the picture entirely. That stirred up a lot of emotions. Some felt like Willow crossed a line, especially considering she was ready to claim abandonment, while Michael was still fighting to recover. It left people wondering where her priorities really were. Then there's the ring, Lila's ring, something symbolic, something meaningful. Michael wanting to take it back from Willow struck a chord. It wasn't just about the object, it represented everything that had been taken from him. Some were fully behind Michael, cheering him on and hoping he'd reclaim his children and his place. They were tired of seeing him sidelined. And Willow, many weren't sympathetic. There was a strong feeling that she acted entitled, like the kids were only hers, when in reality, they were Michael's too. Some couldn't get past the fact that she gave Drew authority over Michael's children in case something happened to her. That decision alone left a bitter taste. But Willow wasn't the only one facing heat. Lulu got her share too. A lot of frustration centered on her being meddlesome. Some felt she brought on a lot of the chaos herself, especially involving Gio. They thought she had no right to dig into things that weren't her business, and now they were eager for her to face the consequences. There was a feeling that she ignored clear warnings to back off, and now it was all catching up with her. Then came Lois. Her part in this whole saga, especially with Gio, stirred mixed feelings. Some felt for her as a grandmother. She couldn't bring herself to let go of her grandson. It made sense emotionally. Others were more critical, pointing out that keeping Gio's true identity from Brooklyn for so long was unfair and damaging. She may have acted out of love, but it wasn't her truth to withhold. Still, a few people saw her intentions, thinking she did what she thought was best, even if it was the wrong call. Brooklyn's past decisions came into focus too. When she was young, she thought giving up her baby was the right thing. Lois, seeing that, chose to keep the child close. But now that Brooklyn can't have a baby with Chase, guilt is resurfacing, and her expectations toward her mother are shifting. There's a sense that Lois is going to have a tough time ahead, especially once more people find out what she did. Some joked she might even get kicked out of the house, whether by Brooklyn or Tracy. Olivia also didn't escape criticism. Some pointed out the irony of her preaching morality when she had kept Dante from Sunny for decades. The hypocrisy didn't sit well, and it added another layer of tension to the already tangled mess. But what really had people talking was the return of a darker, more determined Michael. That quiet, easygoing version of him was gone. This was a man fueled by betrayal, loss, and a need to reclaim what he saw as rightfully his. And some were thrilled. This shift reminded them of the old energy the show used to bring. The kind of drama that pulled them in years ago. And then, under all of this, is a sense that there's still more to unravel. People are waiting for the next big reveal, especially around Willow, Drew, and Nina. It feels like things are just starting to fall apart, and everyone's waiting to see who will be left standing. In the end, it's messy. Emotions are raw. Everyone made choices, some out of love, some out of hurt, some just from not knowing what else to do. No one's hands are entirely clean, but that's what makes the fallout so gripping. Time will tell who can rebuild and who's just left with the wreckage. What happens when a secret kept for 22 years finally explodes and tears a family apart? This isn't just a story about betrayal. It's about the raw, painful fallout that no one saw coming. It was one of those episodes that sticks with you, the kind that leaves your emotions raw and your heart heavy. The moment Brooklyn confronted Lois was a real turning point. For many, it was deeply emotional, the kind of scene that demands a handful of tissues. There was so much pain and history in that room. Brooklyn was devastated, and understandably so. She had just discovered a truth that changed everything, and it was clear she felt betrayed. Lois, on the other hand, was caught in her own complicated choices. She thought she was protecting her daughter, but by altering the adoption plans years ago without saying a word, she built a secret too big to hide forever. Some people sympathized with Lois, acknowledging how impossible it is to know what you would have done in her place more than 2 decades ago. But others pointed out that when Brooklyn came to her with questions about her child, that would have been the moment to come clean. Instead, silence made things worse. Then there's the ripple effect. Gio, learning about his roots, was shattered. His breakdown, especially with Tracy, struck a chord. Tracy, who is often seen as tough and calculating, showed a tender, almost maternal side that many hadn't seen before. Her speech to Gio moved people to tears. She tried to make him see that he was part of the Quartermaine family and belonged, even if he wasn't ready to accept it. Dante's reaction was another focal point. While he was clearly shaken, he didn't turn on Brooklyn. Instead, he stood by her, focused on being there for Gio. That stability, amidst the chaos, gave the episode a sense of grounded care, something rare in the storm of betrayal and shock. Outside of this central story, viewers also weighed in on other threads from the episode. Michael's ongoing custody battle drew strong reactions. Many supported his efforts to keep his children safe, while others criticized the messiness of it all, pointing fingers at Drew, Willow, and Mina for their roles. Some believed Michael was doing what any loving parent would do, while others worried about the legal and emotional toll the situation was taking on everyone involved. There were even lighter moments of critique, like confusion over Kay's sudden recovery from surgery. No scars, no bandages, just straight into romance scenes with Trina, which many found unrealistic. Some felt the music during those scenes was ill-chosen, and that the characters felt disconnected from the main storyline. Still, the focus returned to the emotional core of the episode. The fallout of a secret kept too long. For all the frustration with Lois, some felt she truly loved Gio and acted out of fear, not malice. But the damage was done. Whether forgiveness comes in time remains to be seen, and that's where it left viewers, stirred, reflective, waiting for what comes next. In a world where secrets, family, and loyalty collide, sometimes the most powerful moments aren't the twists, but the quiet reckoning afterward. Why is everyone talking about Michael's shocking new storyline, and why some fans are furious about what's happening with Brooklyn and Lois? You won't believe the secrets finally coming to light. It was one of those episodes where everything seemed to click. Powerful acting, major character turns, and a lot of emotional fallout. The spotlight was definitely on Michael, now played by a new actor, and many viewers found themselves impressed. His dynamic with Sasha, in particular, seemed to win over hearts. Some even started rooting for them to end up together, imagining a future with happy kids and a stable family. A future they clearly didn't see with Willow and Drew. And it wasn't just the romantic pairings grabbing attention. The acting was praised across the board. Multiple people mentioned chills, tearful moments, and a general sense that the performances felt especially strong. From Amanda Setton's emotional delivery to the chemistry between actors, it all just seemed to land right. However, not everyone was thrilled with how the episode balanced its focus. There was a fair bit of frustration around scenes featuring Trina and Kay, which some felt took away from what they really wanted to see: Michael, Brooklyn, and the rest of that unfolding story. A few even said they fast-forwarded through parts of the show just to get to the scenes they cared about. The tension between Brooklyn and her mother, Lois, also struck a deep chord. Many were quick to defend Brooklyn's anger, saying she had every right to confront her mother for past choices, especially for keeping such a significant secret. But others sympathized with Lois, believing she was trying to do the right thing for her grandson Gio by keeping him with family rather than sending him into the unknown. There was a lot of debate over whether Lois had truly betrayed her daughter, or if she'd acted out of love and fear. Interestingly, Dante's quiet support of Brooklyn stood out to some. A single look he gave Lois was mentioned as carrying the weight of 1,000 words. In the middle of all the emotional upheaval, his presence seemed steady and grounding. Meanwhile, there was the controversy over Jason and Amelia. A number of people pushed back on the idea that Jason had kidnapped her, pointing out that Michael, who has custody, asked him to pick her up. Several felt Willow and Drew were overreacting or misinformed, and some anticipated that this accusation might eventually backfire on them. Other characters stirred conversation too. Tracy, for instance, was both praised and criticized. Some loved her sharp personality and saw her as a standout. Others thought her behavior was too over the top. And while some hoped for new romantic pairings or returns of past favorites like Spencer or Morgan, others felt certain storylines, like Cody and Lulu, could veer into unnecessary drama. In the end, though, what stood out most from the discussion was how deeply invested people are in these characters and stories. Whether it was admiration for an actor's performance, frustration with a plot twist, or hope for a different romantic direction, everyone seemed to feel something. And that's a testament to how powerful a well-executed episode can be. Here's what nobody talks about when a parent hides the truth about their child for 20 years, and why it ruins more than just relationships. So there was this intense episode that really stirred up a lot of feelings. It all started with some questionable choices, like Kai doing something really strenuous right after surgery, which seemed pretty unrealistic. People were noticing that there were no visible signs of his surgery at all, no scars or anything, which just added to the disbelief. It felt a bit off, like the show wasn't paying attention to those details. Some viewers even joked that maybe Trina did all the work since Kai was acting like he was fully recovered instantly. But the real heart of the episode was the emotional fallout around Brooklyn and her family. The core of the drama centered on Lois, who had hidden the truth about Gio's parentage for years. That secret finally came crashing down, and it was devastating to see Brooklyn's reaction. The tension was so palpable. Brooklyn was furious and hurt because she found out her mother had kept Gio's true identity a secret for over 2 decades. It wasn't just about the lies, but the betrayal of trust and the deep wounds it reopened. The way Brooklyn confronted Lois was a powerful moment, full of raw emotion and unspoken history, like a reckoning that had been a long time coming. People really connected with Brooklyn's pain and felt the weight of that scene. Many said her performance deserved an Emmy, praising how authentically she conveyed heartbreak and anger. It was also clear that viewers sympathized with Lois to an extent, understanding she probably meant well, trying to protect her daughter, but that her decision ultimately caused a lot of damage. The whole situation reminded some of other similar painful moments in the show's past, where good intentions led to complicated, irreversible consequences. Meanwhile, there was also a lot of talk about other storylines that seemed to overshadow or interrupt this emotional arc. Some felt the episode wasted time on Trina's romance with Kai, calling it boring or filler when the real gripping content was all about Brooklyn, Gio, and the family fallout. Others wished the focus had stayed on Michael's return and the implications for his kids or the tensions involving Gio and his family, rather than side plots that didn't seem as compelling in this moment. On the topic of custody and family conflict, it got quite heated. Willow wanted to involve the police over Michael taking the kids, but many pointed out that since there's no formal custody order, Michael has as much right to them as Willow does. This added another layer of complexity, with people debating whether accusations of kidnapping were serious or just soap drama. There was also a general consensus that Drew had no right to be involved with the kids, with viewers wanting him to back off. Amidst all this, some characters like Tracy and Gio were showing signs of growth and potential for healing, with hope that Gio might eventually accept Brooklyn and Dante as his parents. The writing and acting around these moments were widely praised, even if some thought the pace could have been better. On a lighter note, the episode had its share of small complaints and humor too. Some noticed wardrobe choices making Brooklyn look older than she should, and others criticized certain characters like Lulu for being irritating or desperate in how they justified their actions. Overall, this episode seemed to be a roller coaster, mixing raw family drama, secret revelations, and fractured relationships, with a few missteps and distractions thrown in. It sparked a lot of strong reactions, from sympathy to frustration, highlighting how deeply invested people are in these characters and their stories. In the end, it's a reminder that even with the messiness and imperfections, stories like this tap into something real about trust, betrayal, and the complicated bonds of family. The fallout from long-hidden secrets can be painful, but it's also where the most intense drama and growth often lies. So there's this really intense moment unfolding with Spencer potentially coming back, but the bigger focus right now is on Gio and how he fits into the family. The reveal that Gio is actually the son of BLQ and Dante really shook things up, especially for Tracy. You know Tracy, typically sharp and a bit hard-edged, but seeing her face when she learned the truth was something else. It wasn't just a casual reaction. She was stunned, speechless, and genuinely emotional. It's rare to see that side of her. What's interesting is how fiercely protective Tracy became the moment Gio tried to distance himself, saying he wasn't really part of the family. Tracy immediately shut that down. No chance he's walking away. She made it clear, once you're a Quartermaine, you're family, whether you like it or not. She might throw shade and trade stocks like weapons, but when it comes to family blood, she's all in. And Gio? He's officially in now, with all the drama and entitlement that comes with being a Quartermaine. There's no turning back. There's a lot of love for Tracy in this storyline. People have been saying she'll be Gio's fiercest protector, and many were moved to tears watching their scenes together. She's expected to be a wonderful great-grandmother figure to Gio and really stand by him through everything. On another front, Sunny weighed in with some pretty heavy words, warning Nina about Willow potentially losing her children, and hoping that Drew is worth the trouble. This sparked a lot of reactions. Finally, Sunny seemed to be firmly on his son's side, and many felt it was about time he did. Meanwhile, there's speculation about how Sunny might confront Lois over what she did with Gio, given all the secrets coming out. Speaking of secrets, the whole custody drama around Nina, Michael, and Drew is turning into quite the roller coaster. Nina was all confident, plotting to get full custody of Wiley, but then Michael shows up calmly to reclaim his son, and Nina's whole plan unravels right in front of us. Suddenly, she's scrambling, talking about compromise and joint custody after all that fiery courtroom plotting. It's been quite a shift, and many viewers are noting how Nina is struggling with the fallout from her relationship with Drew, who's been nothing but trouble, from ruining her marriage to stirring up custody battles. People are really invested in seeing how this plays out, with some hoping Nina will finally realize she needs to let go of Drew and face the reality of the mess he's created. Back to Gio's storyline, there's a lot of tension around Lois and the fact that she never told Brooklyn about Gio. Apparently, Gio grew up in the dark about his own backstory, and Brooklyn has no idea that she has a son who's suddenly part of the Quartermaine legacy, complete with ELQ stock and all the family drama that entails. This secret-keeping has everyone worried about the fallout. People are predicting that when Brooklyn finds out, she's going to go full-on soap heroine, ready to confront everyone involved. The general feeling is that keeping such a huge secret especially in a family as complicated as the Quartermaines, is bound to blow up at the worst possible moment. Folks are already bracing for that inevitable dramatic showdown. Meanwhile, there was a bit of frustration with other storylines and the pacing of the show, especially with weather interruptions and lots of commercial breaks. But overall, the episode was described as one of the fastest, most eventful hours in recent memory. In the middle of all this, the acting has been widely praised, especially the portrayal of Tracy. Many feel the performances deserve awards, with some calling out Jane Elliott's work as outstanding. The emotional depth brought to these family revelations has really resonated. Looking ahead, there's speculation that Willow and Drew's relationship won't last, and that everything connected to their storyline might start unraveling soon. Many hope the truth about Drew's misdeeds, including past betrayals and manipulations, will come to light, bringing justice and resolution to the tangled relationships. All in all, the family dynamics are shifting rapidly. Secrets are coming out. Alliances are being tested. And it's clear that once someone becomes part of the Quartermaine family, whether by blood or by revelation, there's no simple way out. This mix of fierce loyalty, hidden truths, and complicated relationships keeps everything intense and unpredictable. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.